This episode of Bear With Me is produced by CENTCOM Entertainment.
What's up? Thanks for bearing with me. I am Herb Howard. The 3-3 Chicago Bears find themselves facing their first true must-win game of the season. They simply cannot afford to go 3-4 with teams on their schedule remaining like the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Chiefs, the Packers again, the Vikings again. The Bears have to find a way to get a victory Sunday afternoon at Soldier Field when the LA Chargers come to town. For them to do that, the Bears simply have to be balanced on offense. They have to be efficient with the run and the pass. And it doesn't really matter how effective the run is. The Bears just have to show a willingness to commit to the run and stick to it. Even if it's not hitting early, they get 1, 2, 3 yards on the carries. We cannot get away from it and just abandon the run and begin to throw the ball repeatedly. Because the fact of the matter is, the Bears cannot win football games throwing the ball 50 times. So it doesn't matter if the run is not working for big chunks. You simply have to stick to it to have that balance. Because if you throw it 50 times, you're gonna lose anyway. So you might as well try to keep that balance. Keep sticking with that run at the very least. You'll shorten the game. You'll give your defense some rest, time to get ready to come back on the field and be the dominant defense that we've seen them be earlier in the season. They haven't been able to play that way lately, and part of that is about injuries to guys like Akeem Hicks, obviously, but it also has to do with the fact that the Bears offense has not been able to sustain any drives, and the defense has simply been on the field for far too long. Matt Nagy is going to have to commit to the running game Sunday against the LA Chargers. I would like to see the Bears do something like 30 runs, 30 passes. That's been the formula all season. That will continue to be the formula for success for the Chicago Bears. If Trubisky gets up around 40, 45 attempts, that is going to be a bad thing for the Chicago Bears. You need to use David Montgomery, use Tariq Cohen, even use Mike Davis, who hasn't really, I don't know if he's had a carry in the past 3 weeks or so. You have to be able to use these running backs and find ways to move the chains, keep sustaining drives, keep that offense on the field, keep the defense on the sideline. This is going to be a tough game. The Chargers, yes, they don't have a good record. They come in with a record of 2-4 right now, or 2-5 right now. But the fact of the matter is, they've been in every single game. All of their losses have been by 1 score or less. They haven't been blown out of any game, and they certainly aren't going to be blown out by Chicago Bears on Sunday. This is going to be a 4-quarter game. All the more important for the Bears to play ball control football. Make sure you don't turn it over. Make sure you don't have your defense on the field too long so that when the fourth quarter comes, they can still be fresh and playing at their highest level. Because if they've been on the field too long, come the fourth quarter, they're going to start to give up some of those long drives like we've seen them do here lately against the Raiders, against the Saints. The Bears are going to need their defense to be fresh in the fourth quarter, and the offense is going to have to be able to play their part in order for them to do that. My key players for this Sunday's game, simple. David Montgomery. You got to get David Montgomery going. You got to get him the ball early, and you got to get him the ball often. He doesn't have to go off for 100 yards, 150 yards. He just has to find a way to make sure that we get him at least 15 carries. I would like to see the same from Tariq Cohen. He has to get the ball in his hands at least 15 times. I would prefer the majority of those to be on running plays as opposed to passing plays. Last week, he caught 9 balls for 19 yards. That's simply not enough. You're going to have to be able to run the football with David Montgomery and Tariq Cohen. They are my 2 key players for the Bears on offense. You flip it over to the other side of the ball, this just feels like a game where Kyle Fuller is going to get his hands on the football. I expect Kyle Fuller to have at least 1 interception, maybe 2. It just feels like one of those games where Kyle Fuller's going to be able to find a way to get his hands on the football. Phillip Rivers has already thrown 6 interceptions this season. Phillip Rivers is the first ballot Hall of Famer. He's a phenomenal player, but he will absolutely throw the ball to you if you're in position and you're ready to make the play. I think Kyle Fuller will have himself a big game. The other guy that has to have a big game, Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack simply has to show up and dominate this football game. Sometimes when you come down to games like this, it can really just be about who has the best player on the field. I believe the best player on the field is Khalil Mack. He's going to have to play that way on Sunday. He's going to have to be disruptive in the backfield, both in the passing game and in the running game. Perhaps create some turnovers for the Bears. Certainly get some sacks, get some pressure on Phillip Rivers so that those balls can come out early so that people like Kyle Fuller can have an opportunity to get their hands on the ball. If Khalil Mack shows up and dominates this game like he's certainly capable of, it'll go a long way towards helping the Bears secure a victory and start to get back on the right track. So Khalil Mack, Kyle Fuller, my key players defensively. David Montgomery and Tariq Cohen, my key players offensively. the Bears can do those things, they'll have a really, really good chance at winning the game. You flip over to the Chargers side. Both of their defensive tackles are going to miss this game, including veteran Brandon Mebane. They're going to be out, so there should be some opportunities for the Bears to be able to run the ball up the middle of the field. You got to have James Daniels, Rashad Coward, and Cody Whitehair, center and the two guards, moving people off the ball, creating some lanes for those running backs to get through. And again, it's going to be about Matt Nagy being willing to stick to the run. He seems like he's going to be willing to do that as you listen to him talk throughout the week in his press conferences. He understands that he has to be able to run the ball. He says, well, listen, we aren't going to run the ball 7 times. That's not going to happen again. He said, we aren't going to just run it 8 times either. So he's saying the right things, like the Bears are going to be committed to the run this week. But sometimes when that game starts, the game plan kind of goes away and he kind of gets back into his tendency of pass. He cannot fall into that habit this week. He's going to have to commit to the running game. And without the Chargers having their starting defensive tackles, should be an opportunity for the Bears to run the football. Also missing perhaps will be the Chargers' two starting safeties. One of them will certainly be missing. Derwin James is likely to miss the game as well. They're going to be banged up on defense. Should be an opportunity for the Bears offense to play well enough to sustain some drives, put some points on the board, and they have to do it early. You have to get out of the gates early, because the more you let the team like the Chargers hang around the game, they take the lead, they get to dictate the flow and the pace of the game, the harder it is going to be for the Bears to win the game. Also, it's just going to be good for the Bears psychologically. You're coming off back-to-back losses. You don't want to start slow, because then you start to kind of lose a little bit of hope, lose a little bit of belief. You got to play fast. You got to play with confidence. And getting out to an early lead will go a long way towards helping the Bears to do that. I am generally someone who likes to, if you win the coin toss, defer to the second half, because, you get the opportunity to have the ball, at the end of the first half and then get it back at the start of the second half. But for this particular game, if the Bears win the coin toss, I would actually like to see them take the ball and go down and score and get some points on the board early, get your defense playing from a position where they can play with the lead, they can start to get some pressure on their quarterback and start to play like they were playing earlier in the season. So it's going to be really important for the Bears to get off to a fast start. There's going to be some opportunities. The Chargers are banged up defensively, and the Bears are certainly going to want to be able to dictate the pace of this game, dictate how this game goes, run the football. The offensive line has to play well in the running game. They're going to have to be able to open up some lanes. And again, it's not about the 10, 15, 20-yard runs, just committing to it. 3 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards, and then boom, you'll have one pop. But you have to be able to stick to it. If the Bears can do that, they'll put themselves in a really, really good position to come away with a victory and start to right the ship for their season. All of their goals are still in front of them. They've already beat the Minnesota Vikings. I know the Minnesota Vikings won again on Thursday night. They're 6-2, but the Bears already have that one game ahead of them. They got to play them again. The Bears can still win this division. They can certainly still get into the playoffs. All of their goals are still in front of them, but this is a must-win game. If they go to 3-4, their season's going to be pretty much over. The Bears have to win this game tomorrow against the LA Chargers at Soldier Field. I think they will. I'm going to predict that the Bears will win the game 20-16. I got the Bears winning at 20-16, a close 4-quarter game. David Montgomery plays well. Tariq Cohen plays well. Khalil Mack dominates. Kyle Fuller gets 2 interceptions. We'll see how that all plays out. We'll talk about it Monday. Until then, thanks for watching. My name is Herb Howard.